Welcome to Living a Life by Design. It's the journey back to you and living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. Did you know your accountability and possibility is by design? God designed a phenomenal life for you, gave you the gift of choice. Esther helps empower you to discover and pursue the purpose that is already in you. Are you ready to look at yourself and see your future? Then get back to what is really important in life and get in alignment with your true self. Stay tuned to Living a Life by Design. Journey back to you and start living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. It all starts now.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Living a Life by Design. I'm your host, Esther Graham, and I'm so super excited that you have taken the time to join me. And whether you're joining us live or you're looking at the replay, hey, you've invested some time to listen. And I am excited today because we're talking marriages. And why we're talking marriages? Because it is so important. And I have a very special guest with me. She's not just a special guest, she's a special friend. She's my sister friend. And of course, she's been on the podcast before. But what I really love about my friend, Alycia Huston, she's the CEO of the Culture Crew. She's a powerful leadership. But last year, when we did our marriage retreat, Alycia and her husband decided to come. And for me and my husband, we just felt so honored because they could go anywhere else. They could do anything else, but they made a decision to come and be a part of the marriage retreat. And so today, I thought, let me bring her on because we're going to totally give the female perspective, right? On being married. I've been married to my husband. We're coming up, I think in March, it's 38 years. I
Yes.
said, I think, but I'm pretty sure. My husband always knows it exactly, right? And then Alycia is, I believe, 18 years.
Yes, 19 in April.
19 in April, and ours is 38 in March. And so we, together, look how many years that is. And we've just got some powerful things to say about marriage. And so, Alycia, first thing I want you to do is introduce yourself. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about what you do in the
Yeah.
world.
You got it. You got it. And it's really funny because, like you said, Dr. Esther, like I've been on here before, but it feels different today because
Yeah,
we're really talking about marriage from the women's
yeah,
perspective and who we are in marriage. So it really feels a bit interesting to be sharing who I am in the world from that frame,
yeah.
knowing that we're talking about marriage today. But my name is Alycia Huston, and I'm a woman in STEM, so I love everything science. And so I love data people, and the data doesn't lie. And so I can speak to the data from
Yeah,
going to the marriage retreat too.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I do leadership and culture work in the world, and I work with small and medium-sized enterprises to support them and to ensure that their culture represents their true values and mission.
Mm, yeah.
Yes.
I love that you represent them to ensure that their culture
Mhm.
represents what?
Their true values
Their
and
true value
mission.
and mission. What's also interesting about that particular statement, and I'll tell you, I had a conversation not too long ago with someone who's been married, but of course they married someone in a different culture, and I said to them, as we were talking, I said, well. You have to keep in mind that your spouse is not the same culture as you. And so exactly what you're saying. This happens in marriage as well. My husband
Mm.
and I are from two different cultures. We may be the same, let's say, skin complexion,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But we're of different cultures. And so we
Mm.
had to really bring that together. So why? So our culture can
Mm.
represent our true value in marriage. Can I just go a little deeper with that?
Oh, yes, this is
Into
good.
it? Um, we're not just talking culture like, I'm from Guyana, he's from America, or this person's from India, and this other person is from America, or anything like that. We're also speaking of family cultures,
Mm.
right? And so kind of talk because you're awesome in leadership. And when you speak about representing your true value,
Yeah.
when it pertains to your culture. How do
Yeah.
you think, even from your own perspective, that fits into a marriage? So important.
Woo, how do I think? I'll tell you from my own
Yeah.
experience. So,
Yeah.
I'm from Southern California. My
Mm.
husband is from the South. Very different cultures, right? And my mom was from the South too. And so there were things that I experienced, but my husband was ensconced in the South,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
when we met. And so there were certain traditional values that he carried. There were certain things that were cultural for him in
Yeah.
his upbringing when it came to holidays or even in marriage,
Yeah.
right? Even in the home.
Yeah.
And so there were these conversations that needed to happen. And I'll be very transparent. There were conversations that should have happened before we got married that you don't realize should have happened before you got married till you're
Yeah.
in the.
So true. So true.
And so I love how Esther, I had never thought of it like that
Yeah.
because it's so true. Culture, who I am, who Andre is, and then bringing those together to
Hmm.
create a space of shared culture, shared mission,
Shared
shared
mission.
value,
Yes.
right? And so
Yes.
that's exactly the same thing that we experience in the workplace, all of that. Oh my gosh. So it's really that place of coming from respecter of one another, first
Hmm.
off, and having the ear to listen and not listening to just respond, but listening to listen and to absorb and to see how can we create something that's shared.
Yeah, I love that. Listening, not just to respond, because often that's what we do. We listen to respond. Oh yeah, we've got the response ready, but
Yeah.
listening to understand.
Yeah.
You speak about Andre being from the South. So my husband, so we sometimes joke and we say, well, we're both from the South. The difference is I'm from South America,
Right.
right? And he is from the South, right? And
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
from the South. And we really had to work
Yeah.
hard on that shared vision, that shared mission, bringing
Yes.
the two cultures together, even in raising our children.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm.
Listen, and
Mm.
how do we communicate? How do
Mm.
we respect each other? How do we
Mm.
value each other? And how do we value each other's values
Ye-
and not like dismiss it and say,
Whoa.
well, that's not what we do. You know what I mean? I'll give you a good
Yes.
example. In raising our kids, down south, what do they say? Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir,
That's right.
no, sir. Well, I remember one time, because my husband would insist that they need to answer yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And I remember one time saying, they're not in the military. Why do they
Yeah.
have to do that? Because in my culture, we didn't say yes, ma'am. We may say, like, if it's you, Alycia, we'll say yes, Miss Alycia, or if you're a cousin, yes, cousin Alycia, yes,
Yes.
Auntie Alycia. That's how
Hmm.
we would answer. And I couldn't understand the yes, ma'am. And I really equated that to that's military and they're not in the military.
Yes.
You are, that's how you grew up, and that's not it. And so we really had to really understand. I really had to understand. And so even now, my children will say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no,
Yes.
sir. And so what they'll do sometimes is shift, however, like if we're down south or we're speaking to his family, or let's say to primarily, let's say Americans, they'll say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. But then when we're at home, like with my culture, they'll
Right.
say, yes, mommy, or yes, auntie,
Yes.
that. Yeah. So it's
Yes.
it's 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 interesting because it really does make, and can I tell you, it could really, let's say, break or make a marriage in terms of this. This is communication. If we can't come together on the small things, how in the world are we going to come together on the big things?
Oh my goodness. And let's not even talk about blended family because
Ooh,
Andre and I were both married previously, bringing children together and then had a child together. So
yeah.
you talk about the nuances, all of those components. And baby, you talk about this
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was
And the
rough. It was
same,
rough.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was married before, and
Yes.
brought,
Yes.
had a son, and
Yes.
brought into our blend, and so we're blended. A lot of people, I love it because I had a friend that said to me that you guys are so blended that I didn't even realize that y'all were
I
blended.
love that.
And I love that. That was such a compliment. She said, "Oh gosh, I forgot that you guys are so blended," because she's about to go into
Mm,
a blended family, that you guys are so blended that I didn't even realize that you were blended. It
mm.
takes work. It takes
Work.
setting intentions.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? And so can you
Yes.
imagine bringing that together? I think, we're about to go on a break. And I think
Yes.
what I'd like to do, Alycia, is talk about how can you bring that together and
Ooh.
what were some of the challenges? Because, what family today, honestly, isn't a blended family?
Yes. In some
You
manner,
know,
right?
in
Yes.
some manner, in some
Mm,
manner, I was looking at doing some research and looking at the statistics and all of that, and I looked
mm,
at the divorce rate and how, and
mm.
then the remarrying rate and the blended families, and so it is skyrocketed. It's higher, and so
Yes.
how do we do this so where we can have a successful marriage that's filled with joy and peace and compassion and
Mm.
working together even in the midst of the challenge moment, because there's not a marriage without challenge. If you're thinking that you're going to get married, there's going to be no challenges, well, you can hang that up. There's going to be, because you're
Amen.
living a life. This is life, right? So
Yes.
we're about to go on a break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to talk about blended families.
Ooh, that's good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Living a Life by Design with my very special guest, my sister friend, Alycia Huston. And if y'all know Alycia and me, we like to move and shake. And so this is
Yes.
such a powerful, organic conversation. So, Alycia, we
Yeah.
left speaking about blended families.
Mm.
Such a powerful subject because so many families today are blended some way or another.
Yes.
So how I was asked the question once, how do you bring the blended family together? When it's a blended family, how do you work through that? And I
Mm.
think there's no right or wrong way in terms of, but I do think it's a conversation that you need to have before you come a blended family.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And hindsight 2020, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I was in my 30s when I got married for the second time. And at that point, I will say, we know about therapy, but and marriage counseling, and we went through it, but we didn't go through it, I believe, to the point where I know some of my friends and colleagues are going through it now, really deep, really real conversations,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that was really a challenge point for Andre and I. You will recall before we went to the break, we were talking about culture, right? And
Mhm.
and belief systems
Yeah.
and how we're each raised differently. So we have a way that we believe children are to be reared, right? And when you bring children together from those two different cultures, two different marriages, two
Yeah.
different lives that
Yeah.
we're now making one, there were conversations that we should have had, Esther, like,
Yeah.
how do you feel about yes ma'am, no ma'am, about
Yeah.
addressing adults, right? Those
Yeah.
things that you don't
Yes.
even think about because they're so nuanced, but they're very real. How do you feel about college, with your child going to college? Do you think that they're supposed to pay for it? All these things
Those
that
important.
we hadn't talked about. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was very challenging for us. And to your point, Esther, communication. And
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, it was really hard for me. I will be fully transparent in saying that I was very defensive, right? I was very defensive in those
Yeah.
conversations too, because
Yeah.
it was like, no, this is how my parents raised us. This is the way that it's supposed to be. So I was very defensive too, in full
Yeah.
transparency in those dialogues.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it
I
didn't
totally
make them
understand that.
right. It did
Yeah.
not make them easy to have. And
Yes.
so there came this point that I had to take some ownership and understanding and operate in some emotional intelligence, right? The
Yeah.
same things that I share with my clients, I needed to take some of that
Mhm.
advice and insight as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so it was in that space of going through therapy, counseling, I'll say, really, because it was really counseling in trying to help us navigate some of these nuances so that we didn't get divorced,
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
it was close friends,
Yeah. Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Because when you're dealing with raising children and then having one yourself, right? um, there are things, to your point, do you call so and my husband was from a blended family already. That was not my experience. My
Yeah.
parents were married until my mom passed away for 40 years, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was not my experience. So it was, no, we call the other mom dad, right? So I had to sit back and take some lessons too,
Yeah.
and learn to listen, not to respond, because I can pop off, y'all, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so shut up, Alycia, sit back,
Yeah.
listen, and learn.
And
And
learn.
so, yeah, so that
Yeah.
was really where things, I'll say, started to um, become a little more, move forward a little bit more.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that happens in many, if I don't want to say all, but in
right.
many, families that are blended families, I just remember with Jonathan and I, one of the most important thing was I wanted to ensure that he treated our son um, the same way um, he would treat all of our children, and so
Yes,
that no one knew. And that's really what we really began to focus on, to where
yes,
many people, unless they hear me speak about it, like now I speak about it now freely, because I speak about it freely now because I know it helps others. Many
yes.
people don't know, to a point that our kids didn't even know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
We were just,
mm-hmm.
that's their brother, that's their sister, and that's just the bottom line. And honestly, from my family, we didn't have stepmother and stepfather.
Yes,
That's my family. And
yes,
I know others have it, and there's nothing wrong with that, because everyone has to know their family dynamics. But we did not have that. And I 100% would not tolerate, and neither did John. But
right.
we worked on that. Right.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
yeah, and as you said, sometimes, Esther, just be quiet, because I can pop off too. I'm like, let me just get this said, boom, 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 and we're done. Right.
Right,
And
right.
so done. And so and so it does take work. And so I think this is like where coming to a retreat,
Yeah.
first of all, not everybody's going to go to therapy for it. And there's a lot
Nope.
of marriage counseling, which is great, but sometimes they don't go deep enough. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and it, not criticizing it, not this is, we're just having a conversation here. But this is where, like, coming to a marriage retreat, let me just be
Yes.
very specific. Coming to my marriage retreat, Marriage by
Right.
Design, that's
Right.
where these things that we really deep dive into, and communication overall, because let's face it, you've had kids together, and you could still disagree on the raising of the kids, because you still come from two different cultures too. You still have two different belief systems. You got all these things, and in marriage as a whole, you got to bring all of this together.
I love that. And I got to speak to that because that's exactly what happened. You know, Andre thought like, oh, you're treating them differently. But then
Yeah.
he saw when we had ours together, he's like, okay, this is just who she is. Like, this is how she just believes, period. And
Yeah.
so to your point, you know, even when I brought up the marriage retreat to him, I don't want to go for a bunch of counseling. So my husband is military, okay, 25 years. And so he's like, I don't want to go for a bunch of counseling. And he loves Esther and John. But he was like, I don't want to. And I said, babe, it's not that. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times men can be a bit apprehensive because
Mhm.
they think you're bringing them into some counseling environment or something of that nature. And it was completely not that. It was like, I loved the tools that we garnered because, and Andre, there's one in communication specifically. He loves that thing and he has a name for it. That's not the
Yeah, he
right
gave
name.
it his own name. He
He
gave
gave
it,
it its
what do
own
you call
name.
it? Shazam, right?
Yes. And you know what he does? Like if we start kind of, he goes, okay, we have to get into the Shazam. I'm like, okay, so we know we're both getting
Yeah,
elevated, right? And
yeah,
so it's like,
yeah,
let's use this conversation tool to have a clean conversation. Even as the other day, he was making a comment because our daughter is going to college
yeah,
next. She has one more year, and then he had said something about the marriage, and I took it one way, but he really meant it another way, like
yeah,
we were going to be empty nesters. I
yeah.
didn't know. I thought he was saying something totally different. So he left the room, came back, and he said, I feel. I said, okay,
Oh,
and then and then I said, So here's my understanding. And he goes, now I get why you became defensive. And when I said it, so communication, Esther, you hit that right on the head. It is so
Yeah.
crucial,
Yeah.
crucial in any
It
marriage.
it is. And when when I was doing my research on everything, one of the things that often break a marriage or cause a marriage to struggle is communication,
Yes.
because it's key, right? It
Yes.
is communication. So, when you're looking at, it's even more important than, finances. When you look, and I said, it's even more important than finances. It's
Yeah.
that communication piece. And when you think about it, communication goes into every area of your marriage, every area of
Yeah.
your life. It's even in business. How am I communicating? What am I communicating? What is the intention behind what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I think all of that, and is my communication transparent? I, you know, I think that I'm a great communicator, but I still have areas that I need to work on. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
We really have to look at how we're communicating. And so it's great that he's saying, let me bring it in. Men many times struggle
Yeah.
with coming to like a marriage retreat because they think, I remember, I don't know if it was Andre or someone said, well, I don't know if I want to come because I don't know if this is male bashing. Absolutely not.
No.
100% no. It's not male bashing. It's not female bashing. It is
No.
us coming together to deepen our relationship. Someone says, well, my marriage isn't broken. Well, it's not for broken marriages, but if your marriage is broken,
Right.
you do,
Right.
I would be like, yeah, I'm there. And
Right.
so, it's a time really to deepen
Yeah.
your love and your connection. And
Mm.
it's also a time to reset. I think sometimes marriages we just need to reset,
Yes, Esther,
you
yes.
know?
And
And,
can I speak to the marriage retreat too? I want to
yeah,
share something that just dropped into my spirit when you were talking. Two things. Number one, I loved how you and your husband took the men at one point. He took the men and
yeah,
you took the women, right? And we just sat in the jacuzzi,
yeah,
like around the table. We talked, we shared, we trusted, we opened up. And there was counsel, right? There's
yeah,
counsel amongst wise women,
yeah,
right? And so beautiful counsel happened and connection and laughter, um, and things were brought up that were challenges for people, right? And there was dialogue, so that was beautiful. And then the men also had their space, but nobody, and I can only speak for our space,
yeah.
but there was no bashing that was happening around men at all in that time,
No, no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here it is. Why would I want to bash the person that I choose to
Mm,
marry? You know,
mm,
why would I want to do that? Even in
mm.
challenging moments, there may be challenges, there may be things I don't like, I don't
Right.
appreciate, or there may be, let's just face, there may be some things that just gets on my nerve, like,
Right.
but I'm not gonna bash you, right? Because I
Right.
chose you. you know
Right.
and I
Right.
think that what's important is that we have to decide every day that we get up, do we still choose this person?
Mm,
And so therefore let's work on it. Again, the statistics shows, the research shows that one of the number one reason for divorce or marriage struggles is the lack of commitment.
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know this isn't working out, they're not doing whatever the reasons may be. you know I'm finished.
Yeah.
you know and it really does take two people coming together, and it doesn't take one person changing.
Mm, that's a whole
It
word.
takes, yeah, it takes two to adjust, to adapt, to align,
Mm.
right?
Ooh, that's a full
It
word.
takes two.
Mm. Yeah,
If you're
not just
ever
one.
looking for that one person to change, now take note, somebody may need to change in one area, but you got to look at yourself too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know
Wow.
yeah, you have to look at yourself too and say, okay, well, what, as you said, you realize that, wait a minute,
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
part of this too. And
yeah.
so it's taken that, and I think that's a lot of also what we work on. You
Yes,
know,
it
it's
is.
like how do we begin to look at each other? Sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I think I got it all, I'm perfect. So it's all you,
Girl, it's all you. It's all you, brother, not me.
all
You're
you,
the problem.
you
And
know?
he used and he listen, my husband went into therapy saying I was the problem. Okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And because that's really how we see it.
Yes. I
Right?
love it.
That's
I love
really
it.
that's really how we see it. And sometimes it's like, I'm a fraction of it, but you're a fraction of it too. How can we now
Yes.
come together?
Yes.
We're bringing our families together, but even most importantly, we have to come together to say, you know what? Do I choose you
Yes.
today?
Yes. And your marriage retreat, yours and John's marriage retreat, it really is, I like what you said too. It's not like, oh, it's only for broken marriages. It's for enhancing your
It's
marriage too,
it's
right?
enhancing it.
It's the enhancement. We do things, we go to the gym to enhance our health, our physicality, our brain.
Mhm.
We eat well to enhance how we live in this world. Why do we not invest time, energy, effort into enhancing this covenant that we said yes to, right? Because like you said, you have to choose every day.
Have to choose.
So this
Yeah.
is an enhancement. I mean, enhancing the communication, enhancing the love, enhancing the deepening, enhancing the understanding, because there are things even in those spaces, because you do give time for each couple to spend time with each other and to talk and to
Yeah.
just be in love, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it is just this space of enhancement too. And it gets you out of your everyday rigmarole.
Yeah.
And so now
Away,
you're
if
in
you
this.
have kids, takes you away from the kids,
Yes.
work,
and
everything. It's about you and your
and you
spouse
always
together.
choose these beautiful places. Okay,
Okay.
let's first talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like
Yeah.
Florida, what
Yeah.
on the beach? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The
Get
place that we're
yourself
going
there.
is so beautiful.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. It sits right there on the beach.
Oh,
Again, everybody has their private room with their private
yes.
restroom, and it's just great. It's
It
just so
is.
super
Yes.
excited
You
about
you
that.
really
Yeah.
have your own privacy, right? You
Yeah.
have your private suite. I called it a
Yeah.
private suite, and it was just
Yeah.
beautiful and
And there's a
allowing
reason
you to
why we do
connect.
that. Yeah. There's a reason why we don't go to a resort.
Yes.
Right? Because there's a
Yes.
lot of things. Don't get me wrong, resorts are great, but there's
Yes.
a lot happening. And so, but we
Yes.
want you to come together because this is now enhancing your marriage.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that takes time,
It
you know?
does.
Yeah, and so when you leave, you've got some things to where you can continue. I heard one of the ladies say that was at last year's marriage retreat. She said, and her husband, I don't know if you remember them, but her husband is extremely quiet. But at that retreat, after the second day, he just began to open up and
I
share
remember.
and talk, and it was so good. That's the
Mm,
other piece, is that the couples that are there, they're all in different stages of their marriage. But
yes.
what you'll find is that we all had something in common,
That
right?
part.
And then we learned and we gleaned from each other, didn't we? We really
Yes,
gleaned.
we
By
did.
the time we came in as strangers and we left as,
Loving
yeah,
each other.
loving each
Family.
other and laughing and talking and, oh yeah, we do
Oh.
that too. And so it's so good. So tell me, Alycia, what do you think was one of your biggest takeaways? You came in one way to the marriage
Mm-hmm.
retreat. You've been married 18 years. I think when you came, you were going towards 18, right?
Yes, correct. Correct.
Yes, yeah. And
Yes.
so you came in one way to the marriage and you left us another way. Or in the
Ooh,
so talk about that.
let me tell you one of my biggest takeaways. Like, it's just so funny. I knew exactly what it was. And I literally, it's now I have the words for it. I didn't realize what it was, but it's so funny because I told you my husband's military.
Yeah.
He's a demands man, but my husband's heart is soft.
Yeah. Mine.
Yeah. And that was one thing I was like, oh, because I could go in, but my heart is still tender. And
Yeah.
I realized I was kind of treating him as this, and I needed to kind of maybe soften some of my conversation and my approach as well. So I realized that his heart is soft and he's more sensitive than he
Yeah.
lets everyone know on the outside world.
Yeah, yeah,
But now I told y'all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So good,
Yeah,
so good.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, and it's really amazing because I think like, the men that came in, the husbands that came in, they're all different and they all came in and it was just so great to kind of, women, we kind of come together really
Oh
fast,
yeah.
and then the men, but just to watch how they just came together. Here's the other piece. Yeah, it's so
Uh-huh.
hard for many times for men to share and
Yes.
to listen to them share their
Mm,
heart,
mm.
you
Ooh,
know, and to listen to them to say to their spouse, "Oh, I didn't know that you felt that way," or that
yes,
wasn't my intent, and
yes,
so there's so many things that come out that's good.
yes, yes.
It's good because it's an environment. I like to call
Mm,
it a sacred. Let me tell you, we pray through the environment.
mm,
We pray
mm.
before we're praying through every room, everything because we
Yes,
want to create a very safe environment that's
yes,
very sacred, where
yes,
couples feel safe and that whatever it is that they need, they
yes,
can receive.
Esther.
And then we also have a great time. I mean, we did
Yes.
date night, the renewal of vows, and we were
Mm.
dancing, and it was just
Dancing.
great having fun.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
great. It
yeah.
was
It's
just
not all serious. I want everyone to
no.
know that it's not all serious. It's fun. You create a sacred safe space. And
Yeah,
so people feel free to be themselves, dancing and laughing and just being who they are, right? Of course, we all come in at first guarded because we're
of
we're
course.
we're surveying the scene. We're
Yeah.
always protecting
Hmm.
ourselves. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, by day two, as you said, it's over, baby. It's on and popping. Everybody is talking, and there are these conversations that go very deep, very
Yeah.
quickly, and they're
Very,
needed, and
yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And to look at the different couples and the different levels where they were and where they were in communication, it was just phenomenal. Listen,
it was.
if you're thinking that you need more communication tools, this is the place to be.
Yes,
And I heard someone say, listen, your marriage is worth it. It is worth
yes,
the investment.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. If
yeah.
you're looking to enhance, to uplift, to create
Reset,
for, this is the
reset.
space. This
Yeah,
is the
this is
space.
it really is. Listen, we're going to come right back and take a quick break, and we'll see you in a minute. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Living a Life by Design. Today, we're saying, let's talk marriage. We're talking about marriage by design with my very special guest, my sister friend, Alycia Huston. So, oh my gosh, the marriage retreat that I am so super excited about. It is in a sacred,
Mm,
safe space,
yeah,
a
yeah.
sacred, safe space where you can choose to go as deep as you want to go, to
Mm,
enhance your marriage, to
mm,
enhance your relationship with the one that you choose to say, I do too.
yeah.
And whether it's for 6 months, 1 year, 5, 10, 28, we had a couple, what was it, 48 years?
Yeah, 48 years.
Yeah. And so to say, let's talk about that, Alycia. I
Ooh,
want everyone to hear your experience about that sacred safe space for you
yeah,
and Andre.
yeah, yeah. And it's so funny because you'll recall the previous segment we were talking about how my husband's military, he is very
Yeah.
particular, he is very guarded, right? And he didn't
Well,
know what
can
to
I just
expect.
put a
Sure.
pin in that? I remember at one point, this was year when Andre first said, Alycia, remember what I'm talking about? I'm not going to be telling all my business now. Remember?
I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's so funny. And my husband is very particular.
Yeah, yeah.
And he really is. And I can't be mad at that, right? I used to get mad at it. I told y'all I've grown. I'm growing. Pray for you, girl.
Well, we all
But
do. We're growing up. We're growing
yes,
up.
yes.
Yeah.
And and he loves Esther and John, and he trusts them. And it's because of the space that you too have created, right? You share transparently of the challenges you all have had. You don't come in like dancing, like, oh, we got this all figured out, and everybody's bad but us, right? It's
Yeah.
just you come in with such this level of love, meeting people where they are, and you allow people to just feel held. And so with that, I know that's why my husband, remember, Mr. Guarded,
Yeah.
was able to really share in that space. Um, and I was able to hear things that I hadn't heard before,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that speaks to what you all create intentionally.
Yeah.
And so we were able to move with this space of deeper communication, right? Um, Enhancing our own experiences in covenant together,
Yeah.
in that space and out of that space. Here we are a year later, and we're still utilizing the
Yeah.
things that we learned, right? The things that were brought up, and we can kind of catch each other. Okay, let's go back to the marriage retreat now,
Yeah.
and then we know, like, okay, we have to be good little girls and boys and sit down and listen.
Yeah. It's funny because even my daughter, her and her husband, they were married for 13 months when they came.
Yes.
And just the other day, her husband was saying, "Yeah, we go back to that communication tool, when we're having, and that's great. It's like, oh yeah, we go back." And then they started calling it Shazam too.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, but yeah, they talk about that. That's
Yes,
so important.
it is, Esther.
Communication.
It is. And
They just went through a tragedy, and
yes,
that communication tool really helped them to
yes.
talk through that tragedy. And
Mm,
instead of, tragedy sometimes can pull us apart. And what
yes.
that did was brought them together because they were
Mm,
able to talk about it and heal about it and
wow.
all that. And they put that towards, this is what we got from that retreat.
Wow. Wow. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I do love how you because we can all be busy and we can all make excuses why we can't be somewhere, and so many of us put others before ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Others before our own marriages. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do love how you and John are very thoughtful about the space that you select too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we go to these spaces and you walk in and you just feel it's so luxurious and beautiful, and you can see all the touches that you all have put on in addition to the space being lovely itself, but all the additional touches that you put on because you care for those who that have said yes to this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Care. Yeah, I feel as if we have to because marriage is
Mm,
such a sacred place that
mm,
when we do this, we really want this to be a very intimate environment. And
yes.
so, and we want to create the environment so intimate. Like someone said to me, what's also really good is that you guys aren't preachy. We're not like
No.
preaching to you. We're talking. This is a dialogue. It's not a monologue. And so
Right.
we look at environments to where that can happen.
Yes.
Right.
Ooh.
And so where we are in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, it's a beautiful luxury, I want to say Airbnb, but I
Oh,
don't know, but it's 4 floors.
beautiful.
It's got the elevators, it's got a couple of kitchens. We've got our private chefs that are
Mm,
coming. We've
mm,
got our date night plan on Valentine's night because it is February, I know, February 10th through the 15th. So on the
yeah.
14th, we've got our big Valentine's celebration. And I think
Mm,
also one of my favorite things that we do is that we have our renewal of vows, and we're going to do it a
yeah.
little bit different like we did
Mm,
last year, but we're going to add
mm.
a little bit more. What's great about the renewal of vows is that many times when we all got married, we did our vows then, but now you're at a different stage in your life.
Exactly.
So now
Exactly.
you get to rewrite your vows
Mm,
exactly how you rewrite them. And
mm.
someone asked me, well, do we have to get dressed up? We are in an environment that if you want to get dressed up and look beautiful because it's Valentine's, then you do that. I dress up. But
I
listen,
did too.
yeah, you did too. My daughter and her husband, they had on their sweatpants because they're just low-key people. And that's perfectly fine. Why? Because it's really all about you and not about us. It's not about what I want, what my husband wants, yeah, it's about what you want and how you feel
Mm,
comfortable because this is a blueprint for how you're going to move forward in your marriage.
yes. Esther.
So
Yeah.
those vows that you wrote, which could be different than what you started with, is going to be that blueprint to say this is how we're moving forward in our marriage. And so there's so many things that's planned. There's bikes at the site to where you can go bike riding. And I
Mm.
just want to say we don't keep you in session all day, y'all. So I don't want you to think that we are not in session all day. No, because my husband and I, this is for us too. Right.
Yes.
And so we want to relax. We want you to relax. And so you've got time, afternoon time to relax and enjoy and laugh and just do whatever it is that you want to do. Go walk on the beach.
Yes.
You've got your journaling time. You've got
Yes.
your, prayer time. You've got all these, you create, you help us create this environment.
Yes.
And it's inclusive. It's for everyone,
Mm.
you know? It's
Mm.
for it's for everyone.
Mm. And you feel that when you're there. You feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're talking marriage is a covenant. This is for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. And it's so funny. You made me think about something when you're talking about the bikes and having your own time. I remember it was late one night and me and Andre were like, let's go in the kitchen and see what's in the refrigerator. Like we got up and went in the kitchen, opening the refrigerator, getting food out, being all quiet, feeling like little kids. It was so fun. Like you were like,
Yes,
ooh, remember when chef made this? We're like, let's see if that's still in here. You're like, ooh, somebody ate that. You know what I'm saying? But it was so fun. Like you just go in the kitchen so you have access to the kit. Like you could get snacks. All it was great. It was
everything.
so fun.
Everything. Yeah, it was great. And I'm glad you brought that up because listen, y'all, this is an all-inclusive retreat. The only thing that you pay for is your transportation, right? You got to get there and then you got to get home. But
Right.
yes, there's something else outside, but everything is inclusive,
Yeah.
including your date night, in
Mm,
all of your food. Um,
mm.
it's all inclusive.
Yeah. And
Right,
all the
like you're at the resort.
experiences. Yeah,
Yeah,
all the
all
experiences.
experiences, and by the way, we've got massages again.
That I knew it. I didn't
Oh,
say
you know
anything. That's
it.
what I was saying. The experiences,
The
baby, and those massage.
experience, the massage, listen, that massage therapist is life-giving, life-giving. Am I right?
Listen,
Oh,
I think my husband was trying to knock me out the way so he could go first. I was like,
yeah.
sir.
Exactly. So we want, now every couple gets one massage, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And if you want more, she's available, she'll do another one, but we offer you one massage, which is phenomenal. Then we've got breath work.
yes. Oh, life
It's
changing as well.
life changing. If you have never done breath work, well, this is the place where you want to try it. It is so powerful, so
Yes.
powerful. And so
Yes.
I'm excited about all of that sound healing.
Yeah.
I'm excited that what's the experience that you will have. And what's really great, Alycia, so I have to tell you, are you ready?
Mm, yes.
So because of the time frame and because we really want to open this to everyone and we
Yeah.
really want to make it affordable, I sat with my team and I said, okay, we've got to change some things. I've while we began talking about the marriage retreat quite a while ago, we
Yeah.
really pushing it right now. We want people to come. We know times have changed, so
Yes.
many things going on with everybody's job and everything. We really wanted to make it affordable. So we have
Right.
it right now until January 13th to where it's 40% off
Wow.
of the original price. And that is per couple, per couple.
Wow.
So it's not individually, it's per couple. And of course, it's February 10th through the 15th. So I think,
Okay.
listen, I want to say, don't wait.
No.
Jump on. If you jump on Facebook or you're on Instagram or anywhere, you'll even see it on this podcast to where you can connect and you
Yeah.
could register. You could find out more information about the marriage retreat because it is second to none. It is
No.
an experience, as someone said, you need to experience it at least one time,
Amen.
at least
Mm-hmm.
once.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I agree. And I love that it's 40% off. Do you happen, what is that? And that's an investment in you, right? Like
that's
that's an
it.
investment in your future, your marriage. Like that. Listen, y'all, listen, I'm feeling some kind of way because I didn't get no discount when I went like that. But you know what? I would pay full price.
Yeah, it's and I'm glad you said that because someone else said it to me when I said and they said, "Oh, this is a great price." And I said, "Well, it's on discount." I just said, "Oh my gosh, I would because why? Because the experience is
Yes.
just phenomenal and you really can't go anywhere else and get it." And maybe I'm
Yes.
just being what's the word?
Bias.
Biased. you know. But
But
I just really know our volunteers that come in. Listen, we've got volunteers that take the time off of their jobs to come and serve the couples,
yes,
right?
yes,
Volunteer. Who does that? You know,
right,
they take the time off of their jobs to come and serve the couples. And so
right,
I think that that is just, phenomenal.
right,
And when I
right,
tell you our couples come, and there's not
right.
much that they have to do, they just have to make
No.
a request. We can see someone, they're so good. They could see someone getting up to get a snack while we're all talking. They're like, no, I'll get your snack. And it's just
Hmm.
so great. I just
They
want
are.
everyone to know the kind of environment. Now I'm speaking, but I'm going to let you have the last word.
Yes,
And then what I
sure.
also want to do, Alycia, is just, whatever you want to share as, we just have a couple minutes and
Yep.
want to share the ending.
Sure. So I love that you said that you are fully cared for. You
Yeah.
are fully cared for in this space. You, baby, you reach to get a cup. They're like, oh, what do you need? What do you need? What are you trying to get? I
Yeah.
love that because so many of us in life are caring for everyone else. I was caring for my father even at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
And so there are so many things that we're navigating in the care of others. Allow yourself to be cared for. This space is like nothing else I've experienced,
Yeah.
and it continues to enhance our marriage experience.
Yeah.
Nothing is perfect, right, in anyone's marriage, but it, and everyone there, all variety of couples, as Esther said, very inclusive,
Mhm.
from married to 48 years to 13 months.
Yeah.
And everyone garnered wisdom nuggets, insights, right? We're all still remain in touch. It's just such a beautiful, powerful, and loving space to be in.
Mhm.
And I would encourage you, if you are in marriage, this is where you want to be. You want to be in this space, and you're going to just have fun, you're going to be in joy, and you're going to experience just so many things that you didn't even expect to have happen to you in that space. Get yourself there. Get
Get
yourself there.
yourself there. Yeah. It's a time to disconnect. It's a
Yeah.
time to love on yourself and love on each other. And
Yeah.
so this has been a powerful conversation. Let's talk marriage,
Yeah.
It's a covenant. It's a place to where you say, I choose you. I heard Michelle Obama say, I think in one of her interviews, she said, every morning I wake up, when her and Barack wake up, they make a decision. You know what? I choose you. And that is so
Mm.
important in the challenging times, in the good times, in every time. I still choose you. And so, thank you everyone for joining us today. I appreciate you. I love you. I hope to see you at the marriage retreat. Yay! God bless. Take care. Thank you, Alycia. Thank you. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Mwah.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Living a Life by Design, the journey back to you, and living 365 days of purpose with host Esther Graham. Listen or watch live every second and fourth Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com. Discover that what is possible is already in you. God designed a phenomenal life for you. Esther helps you ignite that energy behind your personal journey for a deeper joy and peace, living 365 days of purpose. For more information on living a life by design, visit fddwomen.com.